Good morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour, Joe and Jason on this Tuesday. I hope everyone's having a great morning. We got a pullback finally. Finally, we've been waiting. It's a nice, healthy pullback in gold, silver, all out buys. I'm just telling you, all out buy. Silver, little brother, having a nice pullback here, down over $1. Buy all you can. I'm just telling you right now, load up the truck. And you know what? You know me. I'm not a huge silver fan. I shouldn't say that. I love silver. It's just big and bulky, right? I mean, you know, $1 million. This is how crazy things have got. You know, we used to say, you know, you could put $1 million worth of gold in a shoebox. See, you can put $1 million worth of gold in your wife's purse and still leave all her stuff in it, right? I mean, if you're, you know what? I think my wife's one of the better ones. She doesn't have that much stuff in it, but, you know, she has, I guess she has her regular purse and then her going out purse, right? The going out purse, a much smaller version, but the regular purse, yeah, you can leave all her stuff in it and still put $1 million worth of gold in. $1 million worth of silver. Yeah, you're probably still going to need, you know, at least, if not a forklift, probably don't need a forklift, but at least a dolly, right? You're going to need at least a dolly to roll that thing around. But it's one of those things where, man, it is hard to ignore the setups that are going on in the world right now. Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592, the website at allamericangold.com. And yesterday, you know, we ran the Prepper Special where you got a roll of silver. You got 2 grams of gold and 12 grams of silver on top of this. Listen, silver's down almost $1.50, $1.30. Guess what? The Silver Eagles in the special from yesterday still cheaper. Yeah, that's how great of a deal it was. Listen, we have like 5 left. That is it. There were $925. We had 25. We got 5 of them left. If you want to grab them, call and get them. Because I'll say this right now. I don't know if we'll ever get any more gram bars of silver or gram bars of gold that came in. You know, people buy stuff. We buy and sell everything. Well, I shouldn't say everything. We don't do jewelry and all that stuff. But if pretty much, we don't do 1,000-ounce silver bars either. Don't even call and ask. We're not interested. But everything else just about, we'll give you a bid on it. 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. And, you know, we had the strike, at least for right now. The port strike is over for right now. They say, listen, we may go back in January. It's kind of funny how that worked. Okay, 62% pay increase over 6 years, which I never thought they would do. Get ready. Don't think inflation's done. And on top of that, though, they're still arguing about the automation. See, the ports are like, man, if we can just automate, we can do it with less than you guys. Well, that's the big measuring stick. They're going to try to work it out between now and January. We'll see. They may walk back off the job on January. I have no idea. The Boeing strike's still going on. Israel saying, hey, listen, we're striking Iran, but we're going to do it when we're going to do it. And we're not going to tell you when we're going to do it. All options are on the table, but we're not going to do it right now. They did announce that they say they killed the Hamas number 2. So the guy they killed the original guy. Then this other guy, who everyone said, God, that guy's even worse. Israel's now saying, hey, we killed him too. So now we'll see. Who knows who's going to come in next? Why do I get the feeling it's going to be somebody even worse? That's usually how it works. But in this year of chaos, as the election approaches, overnight, while we were all asleep, dreaming about, I don't know, whatever you're dreaming about, better times, you know, maybe your team to win, or who knows, whatever it was you were dreaming about, Hong Kong had the biggest drop in stocks since Lehman Brothers. Now, a lot of this, right, China was closed for their New Year's holiday. They reopened yesterday. Remember, China unleashed these massive rounds of stimulus, but that was not enough for the Hong Kong markets. The biggest drop since Lehman Brothers. The thing that made it interesting is normally you have these big drops, the volume isn't very big. All-time record volume leading to that downside. So, Jason, we saw this happen in Japan where they had this huge, horrible day. Now it's Hong Kong. It's almost like it's just moving from market to market to market. It's probably only a matter of time before it gets here.
I think that's a good way to put it, Joe, for sure. It's just a matter of time, right? It's these things are in motion. They're happening. And you're watching what the results are of these decisions. So I agree. It's a matter of time. When it comes to a lot of this stuff in the economy, it's just a matter of time, isn't it, Joe? Like, the dollar completely failing. It's a matter of time, right? It's just a matter of time, and these things will happen.
Yeah, more warnings on U.S. debt, and we'll get to that. And the de-dollarization of the world continue. Well, really, it's the de-dollarization of the dollar with the rest of the world. Patriot Radio News Hour. Yeah, it's going to be a buy it on a Tuesday. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason here on this Tuesday. A quick look in at the markets. It's quiet on the U.S. markets. The Dow's up 10. The S&P's up 30. The NASDAQ's up 200 points. The 10-year note continuing. It's off the highs, but still 403 and change. Has been as high as 405. Just thinking, like, in the last 3 weeks, the 10-year note's been from anywhere from in the 360s. Now clearly above 4. This is not how the Treasury market's supposed to work. Not supposed to move. These are big moves. Those are big moves. Yesterday we talked about the biggest one-day jump in mortgage rates ever occurred yesterday. And again, it just kind of shows you the lack of liquidity that really is in the markets right now. And you just need to be careful. Crude oil. Down $3.50. Yeah, $3.50 because I don't know why, but I'm guessing because Israel said, "Hey, we're striking. We're just we're going to take our time with it." I don't know what that means. Gold down. Take this opportunity down $30. This is perfect. I love it. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting. Still above 2,600. 26.15. Silver's off $1.35 at $30.30. Platinum, too, by the way. Platinum down $21. If you guys are looking at platinum, we can get you either a platinum bars. I think we get like a platinum koala as well. For less than $1,100. So if you're interested in that, that's platinum. Just Friday was like 1,020. So down here at 952, again, take advantage. This is just some good profit taking as everybody's kind of waiting to see what's going to happen next. But remember, be diversified. Be more diversified than you've ever been. Are we sitting there telling you, hey, sell all your stocks and bonds? No. But, I'm going to hold a whole lot less of them. More gold, more silver, more diversity. You've heard us talking about it for the last couple of weeks. Why refi? It's a great diversifier. Why? Well, first, you can get up to 10.25% fixed rate of return. What does fixed rate mean? Doesn't change. What if this and what if that and blah, 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 10.25 or, up to 10.25. It's not correlated to the stock market. I think that's going to be really important. Really important. It doesn't matter what the Fed does or doesn't do. Like everyone's talking about the CPI for Thursday, right? My refi doesn't care. You don't even have to worry about it. Think about this. You go out, play golf, and not have a care in the world because you know, hey, I've got myself diversified in the right way. Hey, if the stocks go up 1,000 points, good for me. Stocks go down 4,000, still good for me. Right? That's what it's all about. Check them out. InvestYRefi.com. That's the word invest, the letter Y, REFY.com. Or just call them at 888-YREFI24, 888-973-3924. And, of course, you guys know you got to have a minimum of $50,000. You can use an existing IRA, which is always great. Some of you can use 401ks, whatever it is. But check it out. Get involved. Make sure you are diversified like you've never been. Really interesting news continuing to come out of BRICS. As they continue to de-dollarize, they're now saying that the BRICS, the M-Bridge, this is when we've talked about this. What is that? That's just the BRICS payment system. Think of M-Bridge as SWIFT. For those of you that know SWIFT, SWIFT is led by the United States, and it's how countries pay each other. Right? I'll give you an example. Let's just say, we'll take Saudi Arabia, because that's the easiest. Saudi Arabia is going to sell a cargo ship of crude oil to pick a country. Right? Let's just use China. Up until 6 months ago, not even, probably 4 months ago, 3 months ago, the only way China could pay the Saudis was through SWIFT. And the only payment the Saudis could take was dollars. Now, they didn't have to take dollars because that ended, a few years back. The United States, Bretton Woods kind of came to an end. But the Saudis, they weren't set up to take anything but dollars. And you did it through SWIFT. Right, let's just say the United States is going to sell a cargo of soybeans, to France. They're going to do it through SWIFT. Well, as we know, the United States likes to punish countries that we say, let's just say they don't have the same opinions of what the world should look like as the United States does. Okay, pretty simple. And they like to ban people from SWIFT. Oh, you're not doing what we want, you're banned. Right? And these countries are like, well, God, we can't pay. Right? We can't use SWIFT. It's tough, hard to get around. Hence, here comes M-Bridge. This is the BRICS payment system. And guess what? You can pay in just about anything. You can still pay in dollars if you want to. Pay in renminbis, reals, rubles. Right? Whatever your little heart desires. Saudi Arabia has now notified the world that it is going to be part of M-Bridge. The country now has made comments that they are considering alternatives to the present dollar-based oil payment system and is open to using the petro yuan for all settlements. What? Now, remember we reported last week, China for the first time bought crude oils in renminbis for the very first time. Now, Saudi Arabia is saying, hey, you know what? We might be open to taking renminbis for all of our settlements. And you got to remember, the United States buys very little oil from Saudi Arabia. We don't need their oil. They got a different type of oil. We don't really buy a lot from them. The Saudis tend to sell primarily to China, to India, to Asia, to other countries in the Middle East. So, Jason, this is another big step forward now that the Saudis are saying that, hey, you know what? We're very open to doing trade in renminbis. And I think the thing with Enbridge is it allows the Saudis to really take any type of currency that they desire.
Yeah, well, you would think if you have a so-called free market, which the world does not, that you should be able to do whatever you want, right? I mean, if you're Saudi Arabia, you should be able to do whatever you want. But Saudi Arabia did sign a deal way back in the 70s, the petrodollar. It's just that these things are unwinding. This is why we're on the air talking about the de-dollarization across the world, is because old deals are changing. The worldwide reset, financial reset, is happening in real time, Joe, and I think Saudi Arabia wants to be in the BRICS, and they want to have their options open to them, right, Joe? And that's what we're looking at.
China, which has previously would like to link petrol sales with the renminbi along with gold. And again, this plan was dropped because China would have been at the time the only supplier of gold in a market. That has changed now, right? We're seeing, look at the Saudis were one of the secret buyers, right? Since 2022, Saudi Arabia has increased its gold reserves by over 50%. A matter of fact, they're in the top 20 now, right? They're a top 20 gold holder in the world. So, Jason, it is getting very interesting. And like I said, we're going to have a big update here at the end of the month, the big BRICS meeting. I'm anticipating them putting more members in. How many we'll see. We know that there's close to 40 countries that want to sign up, but a lot of talk coming with Enbridge, the basket of currencies that will be available, and of course, on top of that, a lot of talk about gold backing.
Once again, when there is a reset of economies, whether it be some region or some country, or if it's going to be multiple countries, gold always seems to be a balancing measure, the safety, right, Joe? It's the safety net, and the central banks have been growing their safety nets pretty big, haven't they? So gold will have absolutely a role to play in whatever happens in the months and years to come. It's just money, right? They could balance it in something else. It's just gold is the easiest way. It's an understandable amount. They know how much they're mining out of the ground each year. It's understood that there's a value versus whatever currencies. And gold. Everyone should have some gold. Everyone should have some. If you have the ability to own gold, you should have some.
Absolutely correct. And I know that we're down to the last few of these. This $925 package, it's great. You get silver. You get 21-ounce silver eagles. You get 12 1-gram silver bars, 2 gold gram silver bars, all for $925. Take advantage of it. Get it put away. Warren Buffett continuing to sell Bank of America stock down to 10.1%. So he's one sale away now from not having to announce that he's been selling. He just sold now over $10 billion, 383 million shares. Warren Buffett has sold now, even with all the selling. He still has about $30 billion of Bank of America shares. So think about, he was almost at 20%, so he's cut it almost in half. And Jason, I think next week will probably be right. He will no longer have to tell us. We won't really know how much Bank of America stock Warren Buffett continues to sell. But, look how smart he is, right? Because he hasn't said a word about why. He hasn't. He just keeps disclosing. And for him, Well, I sell a little bit here, and a little bit there, and a little bit here. I mean, he's been selling since what, June? Something like that, right? June, July, August, September, October. Right? He's taking his time, but Jason, he knows, right? He knows, hey, I had time. Right? Warren Buffett, one of the great things of, whether you like Warren Buffett or not, he knows more than just about anybody else about the timing of things, and I think he's kind of doing what I've been telling you to do. He's getting ready for 2025. That's what he's getting ready for. I hope you all are doing the same. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be right back after the break. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Gold's down 35, 26.10. Silver now down $1.50. Buy all you can. The best buy I got, rolls of U.S. silver quarters, $240. That's the cheapest price per ounce that we have right now. Rolls of U.S. silver Eagles. Let's see here. Tell you what, I'll make it like you're buying it in case quantities. $750 on rolls of U.S. silver Eagles. Apparently, I can't even read my own handwriting. So I thought we only had 5 left of these specials. We had 9. It was my fault. I apologize. But here's the problem. We sold the 5 I thought we had. So if you want that prepper special, where the silver's at $740, think about that, right? What a great deal that is. And here's the funny thing. Even silver's down $1.50. Even that gram bar, it's still below cost. Yeah. Same thing with the gold, right? We're giving it away. You get 2 grams of gold, 12 grams of silver, 20 U.S. silver Eagles, $925. Rolls of silver quarters at $240. You get 40 silver quarters there. Or rolls of U.S. silver Eagles at $750. 800-951-0592. $20 gold pieces, $27.50. Buy 10 or more, $27.25. Man, think about this. December silver, right, was 27, pretty much 27.25 like last week and a half ago. Get in on it. 800-951-0592. Now, we're talking about the Saudi thing. We're talking about Enbridge, and some of you are like, well, God, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. Double, that's just too complicated. You're losing me. Okay, let me give you a better example of what's happening. So go back to January of 2021. Okay, so now we're gonna come up on January 2025 here in a little bit. In that time, the debt will have gone up 8.39, anywhere from, let's just call it between $8 and $9 trillion. Okay? So, you can kind of do the math. That's over $2 trillion a year for the last 4 straight years. However, foreign ownership of U.S. debt has only gone up a little over $1 trillion. Which means, right, more and more of the debt has to be what? Bought here. Bought by banks. Bought by the brokers. The dealers. We keep telling you about this. Foreign demand for U.S. Treasuries has slumped from 90% of U.S. issuance. So back in 2005, 90% of all U.S. debt was being bought by foreigners. Why? Well, they had to buy oil from Saudi Arabia. They had to buy soybeans, right? See, this is how countries buy it. They don't leave money in the bank accounts. They don't leave, because we got $10 billion in the bank. No. They have it in the treasury market short term. Guess what it's down to? 10%. We've gone in 20 years from 90% to 10%. By the way, am I making this up? I don't know. This is the Congressional Budget Office that said this is what the number is. My guess is it could be worse than that. By the way, from 2016 to 2019, it was about 50%. So let's see. In 10 years, from 05 to 15, we went from 90% to 50%. And then from 2019 to today, we've gone from 50% to 10%. Uh-oh. What does that mean? That means 10% of new issuance. That's all that's being bought by the foreigners. Furthermore, the status of safe assets in U.S. Treasuries has declined significantly. And they're saying that central banks and investors globally are increasingly less confident about the fiscal responsibility and solvency of the United States government. What? But we got a printing press. That's the problem. We do have a printing press. And what's the rest of the world saying? I don't want any more of these because you just keep printing them. And guess what? Now I need more of them to buy the same thing, right? I used to be able to buy a cargo of soybeans or a cargo of oil for what? Half of what I can buy it for now? 60, 70%. Hey, the price is doubled, tripled, quadrupled. Same amount of soybeans, same amount of oil. And I keep buying these things, and every time I turn around, the interest that you give me doesn't equal I don't get enough interest to equal how many more dollars I need to buy stuff. Jason, it is really, really interesting. You know, we know China's reducing their holdings. We know Japan is being forced to reduce their holdings. But now all of a sudden, with the emergence of BRICS, the emergence of the payment system, the Saudis coming out and saying, hey, listen, we're open. Yeah. We'll do. Listen, Saudi Arabia, they trade a lot with China. Not nearly as much. You know, they buy weapons from us, but that's about it. So, yeah, we'll take renminbis. Why not? Because guess what? The Saudis are saying the same thing. Well, gosh, every time I use dollars, like I need more of them. I keep losing money, Jason. This is something where this is why the BRICS is so important, because it's allowing these countries not to buy treasuries. Simple. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason, we're going to be back after the break. 800-951-0592. Got a couple left now. This will be it. I don't know. You know, again, maybe somebody will walk in and sell us these things, but the Prepper Special, the $925 Prepper Special, we're down to the last couple here. You get a roll of Silver Eagles. You get 12 1-gram silver bars, 2 1-gram gold bars at $925. Rolls of silver quarters are at $240. Rolls of silver eagles at $750. And then on the gold side, man, what a great price. $20 gold, 1 through 9, $27.50, $2,750, 10 or more, $2,725 at 800-951-0592. You know, I've been following Silver Academy a lot lately. They've been really putting out some great information. Remember, starting next year. So that's what, 3 months away? Russia is going to start adding silver and platinum and palladium. Now, of course, Russia, the biggest palladium miner in the world by far. But they're being more diversified, Jason, inside of their diversification, right? They're already huge gold holders. But they're talking about how the United States is increasingly becoming dependent on a handful of tech giants. Amazon, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, and Apple. These companies are huge buyers of treasuries. Why? Well, they don't leave hundreds of billions of dollars in the bank. They don't. I mean, they buy back their own stock, right? But when they don't, they buy treasuries. And now they're saying that the BRICS is going to force this new monetary system with the gold buying that is being done. And Jason, now they're speculating that the United States may actually be forced to follow suit and maybe forced to start buying gold as well, right? Kind of follow the leader, so to speak, in order to keep people interested in buying these treasuries, because right now the foreigners, they're not interested at all.
They are buying some, right, Joe? There's like nobody's buying any treasuries,
right?
So
well, it's like this: for every we'll keep it simple. For every $10 being issued, they're only buying one. That leaves the other 90% to be gobbled up. And of course, where are we right now in our debt cycle? You know, Harry Figge, he had it right. He just had the timing off a little bit, right? The hockey stick of debt, 1995. Well, the hockey stick started probably in 2005, but we're on the hockey stick. You know, we're talking about, this Milton storm here. How much money, they're talking already, we need Congress to get back in because we don't have any more money. We need more money. Right? This is where we are as a nation, right? Every time we turn around, we need Congress to approve even more money because right now, what are they doing? Well, let's just keep increasing spending 3% for everything. And that's not enough. We know inflation's way more than 3%. The government knows it's more than 3%. How many hundreds of billions of dollars are we going to need? We know the Treasury, they got to restock their checkbook. I mean, Jason, by the end of this year, we talked about it, by inauguration, the debt's going to be $37 trillion. We're almost at 36 already. By inauguration time, we're talking about a debt of $37 trillion, and we hope we don't get to $40 trillion by the end of next year. Who is going to buy it all? And here's the question. What if they buy none? I don't know. Right now, they're buying, for every $10 of debt, they buy one. What if they buy none? What if they sell? Hey, we're issuing $10 of new debt, and the foreigners are selling $1. Right? Think about that, right? I mean, that's a very real possibility, and I think it's something where when we talk about what Jamie Dimon worries about stagflation, that's exactly what he's talking about. Because let's face it, what is that going to mean? Quantitative easing, right? They're probably going to, try to bring rates as close to zero as possible. I don't know that. My guess is it'll be quantitative easing with high interest rates, right? Because really, the only time you should do quantitative easing when interest rates are zero, right? Well, between 0 and 0.25, as they like to say. Jason, I don't think we're going to have that opportunity this time around. I think we're going to see a Fed's funds rate 3 or 4% and quantitative easing, which means essentially the Federal Reserve is going to be forced to buy all these dollars because nobody wants them.
Correct. I mean, a lot of the treasuries being sold off have got to be the lower interest ones, right? So as the Fed starts to lower rates, it's supposed to tempt them to buy more, right? Oh, hey, you're not going to get this rate for a limited time, right? This rate only. And they're not getting the sales on these things. They're not getting these things sold the way they should with a lowering rate cycle. We'll see if they lower another 50 basis points, which I think they will do 50 basis points because of what you're talking about, Joe. And see if they can sell some more of this debt before they get down to whatever level they're going to get down to, Joe. It's interesting.
I wonder, do you think the United States would be forced into joining the rest of the world in buying gold again? I don't know. I mean, that'll be a pretty ugly day. But let's face it, we're going to issue 10 and they're selling 1, yeah, we probably would have to. Patriot Radio News Hour. Final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason. Rolls of silver quarters, $240 a roll. Rolls of silver eagles, $750. As we had this pullback in silver today. Get it while it lasts. Because already, look at it, already. So gold was down 35. Now it's down 28. Silver was down $1.50. Now it's only down $1.30. We've seen a lot of this, but this is a nice, healthy, profit-taking day. Jump on it because they don't right now. This has been the pattern when we do get these pull. They just don't last. Right? We get a pullback, but they don't last. Jump on it here. Take advantage of the lower pricing. Again, I can't reiterate it enough. I've got an all-out buy on silver, and I don't say that very often. I'm not talking about silver going to $32 or $33. First it was $32 just a couple days ago. Not talking about it going to $34, $35. I'm not even talking about $40. I'm talking about all-time record highs, which means silver above 50. I wouldn't be shocked to see the silver price double in the next 18 to 24 months. Double from here. Take advantage of it. Gold. I already told you, I already raised my gold forecast for next year. I did pretty good this year. Okay? Told you, hey, 2,700 is going to happen. It did. Told you 3,000 gold next year. Now I think I'm hoping it's only 3,300. I think I'm going to be. I hope I'm wrong. And I don't want it to be 4. Let's get that straight. But this is not a good setup. By the way, $20 gold pieces. This is ridiculous. $27.50, 10 or more, 27 and a quarter. I mean, come on. You're talking about what? $100 over spot? That's peanuts. 800-951-0592. I want to remind you. Think about what we just talked about. 10 years ago, well, 20 years ago, for every $10 of debt we issued, new debt, foreigners bought 9. 10 years ago, for every $10 of new debt, foreigners bought 5. Since 2019, we've been 5 years now. They're down to buying $1. And here's the sad part. We're issuing more debt than ever. Heck, according to the numbers, granted they're not real, but the numbers they put out there, GDP's 3%, unemployment's 4%, we got great job growth, everything's wonderful. Boy, we should have the lowest debt that we've seen since before COVID, right? I mean, we should. But unfortunately, guess what? When the government finally gets around to releasing the debt number, guess what we're going to have? The second highest debt level ever, besides the big COVID year. Yeah, it's going the wrong way, people. What happens if we go to issue $10 of new debt and then the foreigners are selling $1? Heck, what if they're selling $5? That's what Silver Academy was talking about. That's why they said, hey, eventually the United States is going to have to buy gold too. 800-951-0592.